welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. My guest today is Elliott Blount, head coach of the cross-country team here. Elliott, thanks for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me, Aaron.
Cross-country season starting up just right around the corner, an opportunity for the runners to get out there and do their thing. But first, before we get into talking about this year's team, talk about last year and making that transition from last year, especially when you had some success on the men's side.
The men, yeah, we were able to get third, which is the highest in the Sun Belt history, which is awesome for that class. We're returning 2 of those guys, hopefully for this year, but we lost 3, and that's always tough. I really like our incoming freshmen, and the transition is going to be, just learning how to train, starting all over kind of with this, I hate to say rebuilding, because I think, we just continue to grow, so it's like continuing this growth process with the program, I think, is what we're looking for out of the men's team.
And with the men's, I mean, when you say that you lost seniors, you lost your top runners, especially the 2 top runners in the conference tournament, right?
Correct.
So an opportunity there, but once again, not using the word rebuild, but you're building up that class. But as a coach, and especially still relatively new on campus, you're still making that transition to getting your system in place.
Right.
And those younger runners, I would think, is probably helping push that forward.
I give all the credit to those guys who came through and kind of made the program attractive. That's what they had to do. And over 4 years that they were here, they did a great job of that. And now we have a product that we can sell. So the class that we have coming in, I think, is the start of that. It's like, all right, now you can come to Troy. It's a real option. You don't have to go to Alabama, Auburn, Samford, or even Montevallo. You can stay in state and develop. So that's
and be able to compete
exactly against the big dogs. Our schedule's a little tame this year, but it's because of that. We want to get our feet wet. But from that standpoint, those guys did an amazing job, and now we can kind of start getting the talent that we need to be competitive.
And on the flip side, last year you had on the women's side a young squad, but you have that entire squad coming back. And for a coach, that's always one of those good things when you get a whole team coming back the next year.
We lost Kristen Gire, our captain. Fortunately, she wasn't one of the top 5 at school. So we're in great shape on the women's side. Very young. We have some infusion of young talent, and then people coming back with competitive PRs in the conference. And I think this is a year we can put a good product out there and be competitive with the top third of the conference. And who knows when you get out there in the course what could happen. But I really like the youth and the talent that we have. I think it's got to be one of the more talented teams.
And as a coach, having that core group coming back and for the next year, how do you kind of handle that? From running where they were to running where they are now to keep that squad together.
I think the biggest thing is just finding leadership, because we lost our captain, and she was an amazing leader. She kind of grew with the program, knew it was about where we came from, where the program was going. So I think finding that clear-cut leader who's going to be that person who carries the torch into a more competitive phase of the growth of that program. I think we had to create a culture on both sides. Culture's in place. The biggest thing for them, the talent's there. Now it's just leadership. And leadership comes from within. Of course, as a coach, you have who you might think, but it's not always who is the right fit for that group. So once we that person emerges, then it's going to be full steam ahead and watch out.
And then let's talk a little about the schedule, because you mentioned it briefly earlier that kind of have a lighter schedule this season, but a lot of close matches.
Yeah, we have the parents love it, right?
Yeah, of course.
The freshman parents. Yeah. But I think the way the schedule is set up this year, there are some competitive meets. So when we go down to UF, you're going to see some SEC teams in there and some of the better, division mid-major teams there. Excuse me. Then we go out to UAB, Montevallo, and that's going to be a pretty competitive meet. They attract, a 6K for the women and an 8K for the men over a challenging course heading into the conference meet. So a lot of teams will look for that meet locally to stay close. They don't want to travel. So the meets on the surface, they're close, and we're just fortunate. Yeah. We're in a nice situation where we have some good courses locally. So,
yeah. And a good opportunity. And then, of course, you're looking at conference championship nearby. You also got the regionals nearby.
Exactly.
So those are kind of easy trips on you, especially with the runners. You don't want to in a car for too long getting cramped up.
We have to get our academic awards back, right? That's
Yes.
in softball, and Beth Mullen and the softball team kind of took that away. We're trying to get that back, so keeping them close to campus is always a good thing.
Well, good. Well, good luck, and I know you're opening up at Jacksonville, so an opportunity to another close race, but good luck with that first meet, and good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thanks. And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.